Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will be discussing how to go about drawing an object using the grid method and how to calculate the grids, and if we have a smaller print like this, for example, and if we want to convert or if we want to draw the same object in a bigger size, how do we go about calculating that thing, and how can we multiply a very small print even to a large size using the proportionate calculations and without distorting the actual proportions of the image. So step 1 here is to measure the printout. So when we measured this printout, it was 15 centimeters in the width and 18 centimeters in height. So after we took 15 and 18 here, we went on to the calculation bit. So if we can see, what we have to do is convert or calculate the ratio for these two numbers. That comes out to be 5:6. So what we did is we just found the LCM here and went about finding the lowest value or the proportion, that is 5:6. Now we wanted to convert it into a bigger canvas here. So what I did was I took these two numbers 5 and 6 and multiplied it with one bigger digit than 3, that is 4. So we got 20 and we got 24 centimeter because that's the unit that we are using. After we got 20 and 24, what we have to do is we have to make a bigger canvas, that is 20 in the width and 24 in height. After we have done that, what we have to do is we have to measure the entire thing, that is 15, and divide it into 3 equal parts, that is 5 centimeter for this one. So after we have done that, we have to convert or do the same thing to the bigger grid. Now one more thing that we have to make sure of is that the lines that we draw here also, they have to be very light and faint. They cannot be too dark because then they will be distracting. The same is for our final canvas. If you can see, the lines are very light and very subtle. There is nothing that will interrupt the flow of our final drawing. Now, when we have to start drawing, the biggest tip or the biggest thing that we have to keep in mind is we have to forget the entire image and start looking at it as small canvases. Now I will give you an example. For example, if we see this one grid here, there is only a diagonal line that goes and cuts it into almost the 3/4 of this grid. So what we have to do is we have to draw a line that is very similar in this particular grid, which cuts the 3/4. And keep in mind that these are just the guidelines and these are not the final drawing that we are keeping in mind. So now I can see that the approximation here for this grid, if this is the line, then it's a little over the half. This foot line is a little over the half of this. So we have to go at the half and take the marking here and then just go a little freehand and do this. Now we can see that the maximum area of interest or the maximum detail is in this grid. So if you are someone who is trying to do these grids for the first time, avoid the areas with more detail and start with the simpler ones. So if we have drawn that foot line, now we have to draw, we can take another grid, that is this one, and understand that there is a line that cuts here and we only have the outline of the hand in this grid. So we have to just replicate it here and go about doing the entire detail. of the hand. These are just the guidelines. We will figure out the details later. And there is another thing that is visible here, that is this part of the hand. Now we will go grid by grid and come to the first grid in the second line. Now we just continue it and figure out that this line goes up till the middle almost, that is this foot line that I am doing here. And there is a L formation that happens almost a little above the center in this grid and goes up till the first 1/3 part of the line. So we do this, we take it here, the L formation, go up till almost the center and then bring it down to this particular line. I am someone who's interested in doing or drawing anatomies, but I find them very tough, especially when they are in frames like this, where you don't usually come across these formations and lines. So the grid method really helps me to kind of get the right proportions and balancing in the final act. So we will go around. There is the hip of this person, the model, that is almost, if this is the half of the visual half of the grid, then it is a little lower than the visual half. So we just go around and give a curved line lower than the half of the grid. And then there is another line that is followed, if you can see here, the other hip that goes here, and that is a little above the center grid. So we just start from here and go up till this. Now we can see that there is this line of another hand. That happens here. And there is the other foot that happens right about here. So again, you have to just go step by step. If this is the visual half of this grid, then the heel is beyond the visual half. So we drew it beyond the visual half here. It's supposed to be here approximately. And then we just go about finishing it almost here. You can see this, and there is something at the back, so we just draw it like that. Moving on to the next grid, we go about figuring out these lines, the second hand, and the continuation of the hip. So if we go about the continuation of the hip, it is somewhere here. Second hand cuts around here, and the wrist goes to somewhere here. Now you can see that whatever we are drawing here does not look even close to this image, but the idea is to complete it, then figure out and try to put the pieces together, correct the lines where it is, figuring out or going about it, and then correcting the final image, removing the grid lines, and then finalizing the image before we start rendering or coloring or painting it. I just took you through the step-by-step process. I will also upload another video after completing this or while rendering this, and I hope this really helped you all. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel. I hope to bring you more art tutorials like this. If you have any questions or queries, please feel free to ask me in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.